Welcome back to the Prosperous Life Podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up. Today, it is my goal as well as my guest's goal to help you with your confidence. You truly deserve an amazing life that you're happy being your authentic self. But now it's going to come down to earning it and showing up for you in the world. To speak to that, I am Braiden Belnap. I'm a Prosperous Life coach. And today I have Skylar Bytendorp on as a guest. And it is such a blessing to have him on. He's an amazing podcast producer because he'll be producing this podcast.
That's right.
And he got his first employee behind the cameras.
Got Megan Belnap.
Exactly. Welcome to the podcast, Skylar.
Dude, it's good to be here.
This is the first, outside of my wife Megan behind the camera, the first recurring guest.
Oh yeah. How about that? Hopefully it's even better this time.
If people went back to watch the first episodes of my podcast and then they watch this one, it for sure will be a lot better.
Probably.
Like anything though, right?
Yeah. Anything you do, you get better at.
Exactly. So obviously you're really confident and you're happy with who you are. Was there a time that you ever struggled with your confidence?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to say I'm the most confident I could be, but I have a long way to go, like just being real. But I was definitely a lot less confident for a long time. I remember, at being a kid, like hiding behind my mom's, like her leg or whatever when I was, a child, hiding from people because I was just like so shy. And I think just the more things I did, like I started playing hockey in high school, but I was still really quiet during that time. But just the more things I did in life, the more traveling I did, the more people I talked to, the more, just things I did, the more confident I got because I just felt like I had more experience, more things to talk about with people, more, I just felt better about myself that I was actually doing things.
Sure. So when, through the time that you were lacking confidence, would you say you were thinking like, wow, I wish I was more confident about myself. Like, I wish I was outgoing.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel that way. I'm still like, man, I wish I was more confident. Cause like if I'm with my parents or my family, my immediate family, I'm probably the loudest person there. But then if I'm good around, like, let's say my girlfriend's family, I'm like not talking. I'm just like, and I want to say more, but I'm just like, just the words and like what, like the wittiness doesn't come out in front of people just haven't spent as much time around. I've spent enough, like an okay amount of time around them, but that's not just with them. That's just with like friend groups of people I don't know as well. I feel like, I don't know what it is, but I want to be able to be that more authentic self and more confident around those people. But like, I used to be way less confident. And then just like over time, the more I worked out, the more I read books, the more I did what I truly wanted to do, that was when my confidence would grow, is because I knew I was living true to myself. I don't know. Do you feel like your confidence grew when you were doing what you knew you wanted to do and not living someone else
100%
the way someone else wanted you to?
And I'm so great. So to speak to that, I talk a lot about creating your vision for life, but to me that encompasses 4 things. 1, your past. 2, your present. 3, your next steps, so your goals, and then 4, your vision. I feel the reason I am so confident is because I embrace all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I really am an open book. I'm pretty much transparent even with the world. I talk about how I still stole from my own brother. I've talked about how I've done drugs starting at the age of 13. I've talked about stealing from cars. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of things that could be shameful about that. And I carried, for the longest time, I felt like crap. I mean, I wouldn't say that I necessarily was ever at a point where I would have killed myself, but there was a time in my life where that thought really came to mind a lot. And I'm so grateful to say that I always had a connection to God, because every time that I was in the dumps and I was like questioning life, like, what am I doing here? You know?
Yeah.
Stole from my brother. I stole from people. I've disappointed my mom. Stole alcohol. My mind was going in a downhill spiral. And At the end of it, it was always like, there's a purpose you're here. There's a
Yeah.
purpose you're here. So yes, when you're at your all-time low confidence, it's the worst. So having that to where I'm at now, it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
But it takes work.
Totally. And so you say you had to like, with that, it was started with your past. You have to someone has to own their past if they want to build their confidence.
Comb right through it. What have I done wrong in the past, and what am I doing wrong right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the moment you're aware, you're like, wow, I'm not waking up when I say I should. Wow, I'm hitting the alarm. Wow, I'm not working out when I should. It's like, just sit down and ask yourself that. What am I doing wrong right now that I know I shouldn't be doing?
Mm-hmm.
By you starting with what you already know you shouldn't be doing, it'll allow you to go deeper. But you need to transform what you know you should first before you go deeper.
Yeah. So I could look at, because I'll use me as example as the audience, but like I could look at my past, or like even like the more immediate past, like what are the habits that I currently have that are like unhealthy? Like, is it hitting snooze 10 times? Is it like wanting to work out, not working out, which is a lot of times it's like breaking promises to yourself.
100%.
Is like, 'cause like if I say I wake up at that time, I'm going to need to work out today or drink a gallon of water today, and I don't, that hurts my confidence because I'm not keeping those promises to me.
100%.
So it sounds like that's a lot what it is like looking at what you want to be doing, what you say you're going to do, and not doing it. And then we go to the present. Is that what you said? Past,
Correct.
present?
Because a lot of people will disown their past.
Mm-hmm.
And if you disown your past, you actually disown your future and your present. Because all your lessons come from your past. I don't care how dark your past is. Your intention wasn't to hurt somebody in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you did or you didn't hurt somebody, that's fine. We're all human. I've created trauma on a lot of people in this world, but I grew from it. It's what happens on the other side of the darkness that matters. It's not the darkness that matters. It's what you made from it. And so when you're able to look at your past and bring out all the gold, you can show up more fully in the present.
Mm-hmm. And then future, or was it was future or goal setting?
Goal setting. But I look at this as a gap. It's important to see your past. It's important to see your present.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to set your vision before you set your next goals.
Okay. So
it's almost like a destination, right? If I'm like, you know what? This weekend I want to go to Bear Lake. I need to know my destination before I can really set the next best steps to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I want to go to Bear Lake. To me, somebody in their vision needs to have a couple things. One, who they want to be and what they want to achieve. So if you're listening to this, I would strongly suggest writing these down and really go deep with exactly what you want to accomplish by the end of your life with these. But your identity. Who is it you want to become? 2, your spirit. That's confidence right there. If you're connected to God or source or universe, I don't care what it is, but find something you believe in that's greater than yourself. Naturally, you're going to have more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
3 is mindset. 4 is your body. If you do nothing else from this podcast and you naturally every single day work on your identity, spirit, mind, body, your life will get better. Now, after you want to determine what you want to accomplish. Your relationships. What do you want to accomplish in relationships? Do you want to have kids? How many times do you want to travel with your family? Really figure out what you want to accomplish with your relationships. Your finances, your businesses and or your career, your skills, your knowledge, your resume, your impact you want to make. Material items. Oh, I said that right.
I don't think so. Well,
okay. Just to make sure to say it again. Material items and lifestyle. Because it is good to, if you can become more, you can achieve more. So start with who you want to become. What do you want to achieve? And that there's nothing wrong with having material items and wanting a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Figure it all out. That's your destination. From there, you can establish your next best steps to get there.
Totally. And so you said it's good to be connected to God or the universe or, something in that nature, right? So what, I guess what I'm saying is I think a lot of people connect God to religion and think it's almost like one and the same. Do you believe that?
Not at all, man. This is a podcast for itself. So I'm sure, just from our personal relationship outside this podcast, I'm sure you know, but it was my goal to go to church minimally one time a month at a different church every single month.
Mm.
I've accomplished that. Every single time I've gone to a church, I've learned more about my beliefs, and I've learned more about what I don't believe.
Mm.
So when I was never born religious, ever. I went to church all but a couple of times. I probably could count it on my hands based upon how much times I went to church. I was never taught Jesus, Holy Spirit, God, universe. It was be a good person and good things will happen. So I had a lot of good qualities growing up, but there wasn't necessarily something higher that we looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
After I went through my transformation, so I was always connected to a God. I always believed in another life. I just didn't really have a lot of knowledge or belief upon that. But I'm pretty sure you know this, and I've talked openly about it on social media, but when I wanted to start to become more, like I wasn't happy with where I was headed in life when I was doing the drugs, alcohol, stealing, you name it, an angel visited me and said that as long as I transform, I will make a big impact, but if I don't, that I'll die before I graduate high school. That just solidified it to me that God was real. I guess it was like tangible evidence.
Mm-hmm.
After that time, I became very connected to universe. Like I believed in energy, I believed in God, but there wasn't necessarily Jesus or anything attached to it. Truth of the matter is, growing up, there's actually times that people wouldn't be like friends with me because I was LDS, or I would be affiliated or connected with somebody and they're like, why are you not LDS? Why are you not LDS? Quite frankly, the name Jesus used to be a trigger word for me. I've never said this openly on social media. I am now. It used to be a trigger word for me because to me, it's what separated me from not being in. Since I was not LDS, Since I was not LDS, I was not enough to be your boyfriend. Since I was not LDS, I was not enough to be your friend, so on and so forth. And at that time in my life, I connected Jesus and God to religion. But this year, 2 years ago, I started wanting to get to know more about Jesus. I think it's important for anybody just to believe in God, higher source, the universe. I now consider myself a Christian, very strong Christian, especially after this year. This year, I walked into the year wanting to go to church, to new church every single month. And through this entire time, no, I don't think religion is part of a church. I think church is wherever you decide to make church happen. Why do I need to go to church to be connected to God? I do think baptism is important to say, like, my life in a Christian sense, like I'm giving my life to you, Jesus. But yeah, this year, no shadow of a doubt, I believe in God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. That's my God. That's my true God, 100%. I'm not saying that needs to be true for everybody. I just think it's important to believe in something higher, even if it's a mountain. I don't care if you don't believe in God. Then look up to a mountain, just something higher than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, no, it's not connected to a church. Church can be anywhere.
Yeah. Because I think for a long time, I believed that, like, God, church, religion, all that was just one thing. But spirituality, God is not necessarily intertwined with religion.
Exactly.
You know, because there's so many religions out there, and a lot of them teach a lot of the same principles, right?
100%.
You know, a lot of it's just like, be a good person, you know, don't be a dick. And
exactly.
You know, and so, but like once that flipped for me, once I realized, okay, like I can't only get promptings or feel God's presence or him working in my life just at church. I can feel it anytime.
Correct.
Because there's so many people that don't go to church at all, but they're big believers in God, and they say they talk to God all the time, and they hear, like, they feel God. They feel God like moving them and inspiring them to do certain things. And so I think it's like, to believe in God, you don't need to go to church. Does church, are you going to have questions if you go to church? Yeah, because they're going to go over topics and things that you never would have thought of. But yeah, I don't know. It was just, that was just really big when I realized that they're different, but like they're like connected in some ways, but they can be totally separated if you want. But you said you were visited by an angel.
Yeah.
And I have questions about that. So, and I'm sure other people will too.
Yeah.
So, when you saw, did you see the angel or did you like physically see it or just hear it?
It was like a light came over me. So I was super high and super drunk before.
Okay.
With all my friends, and the voice in the back of my head said, it sounded like a friend. Like it sounded like a very familiar voice.
But it wasn't a friend.
No, it was a family member, and I'll tell you more about that in a second.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I'll go to the bathroom. Didn't have to go to the bathroom, whatever. I shut the door, and immediately a light comes over me, and I was immediately sober. It was an extraordinary experience that I will never forget.
Almost unexplainable, it sounds like.
And immediately the angel said, either you will transform and you will make an impact, or you will die before you graduate high school. Now, to say whether that was true or not, like would I have actually died before high school, doesn't matter to me, because all that gave me was a reassurance that I was capable of becoming more and I was capable of achieving more.
Yeah.
It reiterated that all that I was seeing within myself was true, and it wasn't just nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And after that moment, I looked at myself in the mirror for about a minute straight. And that's the first time I saw me for me, minus all of this dirt that was upon me from what I've done or what people have said to me. I just saw me for who I was.
That's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So light came over, you heard an audible voice.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that? Audible? Yeah.
Audible.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's so cool. And that's something you can never really deny. Like it happened.
Possible.
Yeah.
It's like tangible evidence that there's really on their side.
Yeah. And I imagine a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you were just drunk, you were high, and you just hallucinated the whole thing. But I think you've gone over that in your head probably 1,000 times and realized, no, it wasn't that.
Millions of times.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've questioned, like, should I share that online? Because I know some people will, like, disown it.
Yeah.
I've just came to terms that if somebody wants to disown it, then they're probably not for me.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's how it is.
If they want to post a negative comment, I'm just like, cool, not for me. Move on to the next person that's ready to have an impact on their lives.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Okay. So we've gone over that. So you need to build confidence. It helps a lot to have something higher than you, something bigger than you.
Yes.
That's like helping you.
100%.
And then what else does someone need to do? Because I think confidence comes down a lot of times to like a good routine. Like if you're consistent in certain things, you're going to start feeling good about yourself because you are keeping promises to yourself day after day. What are some things in like a daily routine that people need to do to build confidence? So
can I take a step back real quick?
Yeah.
I feel there's 7 steps to really master confidence in life.
Okay. 7.
And if somebody follows, there's a lot of subtopics from this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying this is everything, but if you really wanted to, you could master your life just by 7 steps with anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's awareness. You can't change if you don't have awareness. So if you're super sad, depressed, anxious, whatever, name it right now. Are you actually aware of it? Because if you don't recognize how much pain it's causing you, then you're probably not actually aware of it
Mm-hmm.
to the full extent, right? Yeah. Identity. You need to know who you are and who you want to become. You need to have the spirit, the mind, and the body. You need to have vision. You need to have purpose. You need to have action. And you need to have impact. So that's action. Routine is where action would fall.
Okay. So maybe we should start at the top with awareness. So if someone wants to build confidence, there needs to be awareness. Mm-hmm. How does someone like become aware of the things they're doing wrong or the things they're doing right? Or, cause like, I'm sure I'm doing things that aren't so good, but maybe I'm not aware of it. I remember one time I was in therapy and the reason I had gone, my therapist was like, you're done. You're good. There's other things we could work on. I was like, what? And she's like, if I tell you what you need to work on, then we're going to be working on it because I want to work on it, not because you know you need to work on it or you want to. And so we need to have that like self-awareness of like our flaws and
100%.
what we're good at, you know? So how does someone figure that out?
So, and I think I already know the answer for you, but you can answer and everybody else answer that the listening to this.
You know what I need to work on in therapy?
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
When was the last time you asked yourself questions?
I feel like I do that quite often.
I know. That's what I was thinking the answer I was going to get from you.
Yeah.
But anybody listening to this, ask yourself that. When was the last time you asked a question? When was the last time you actually sat down? Whether you're just thinking, meditating on the side of your bed before you go to sleep and journal. What am I doing wrong in life right now? Where am I not showing up fully right now for myself? Where am I not showing up fully for my relationship? What am I letting get in my way right now? Is it just me getting in my way, or is there other people influencing my life that don't deserve to have influence in my life? Because then, if you actually give yourself time to think, can almost guarantee you right now, let's just take it to the people thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask, who in my life has influence in my life that does not deserve to have influence in my life because they're influencing it in a negative way, I can almost guarantee you that you could pinpoint people in your life that shouldn't have that influence, that you've continued to allow have that influence. And if you became aware of that, you would probably be able to minimize that influence much more if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just asking questions. That's obviously there's a lot of ways people could tell you, hey, you really should cut out so-and-so from your life.
Yeah.
Or, hey, you really should wake up earlier. Or, hey, you should not be on your phone so much. That's just going to put up a wall up and you're going to be like, no, I'm totally fine to do this. And you're going to validate every reason in your mind why it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask the question and you come up with that answer, the only person that you're lying to is yourself.
Okay, so someone should ask themselves questions. What are they doing wrong? Also, probably what are they doing right?
Yeah, that's
Should
huge.
they have like a pen and paper out and be writing the answers down? Or just they just need to like think about it and just be aware of it?
Interesting enough, I feel like it actually depends on the person.
Okay.
And that's where they need to be honest. What would best serve me? Would it best serve me to go on a walk right now? Would it best serve me to meditate? Would it best serve me to take a bath? Would it best serve me to journal?
Mm-hmm.
Because it depends on somebody's headspace, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So ask that question first. If you're wanting to work on yourself, ask the question first. What would serve me right now to be able to get me thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I'm a person that likes to write the list. So I'd probably ask myself, okay, what am I doing that's not moving me forward that I can change? And I'd probably write out a list. And because then I feel like I can like go down and be like, okay, I'm hitting snooze too much. And like, okay, I'm eating junk food. Okay, I'm not working out when I say I'm going to, you know, and then I can kind of like eliminate those.
Exactly.
I think that's what I personally would do. But then you said identity's next.
Yeah.
So like, what does that mean when someone needs to like figure out that identity?
That's a good question. So identity to me is more simple than complex, but a lot of people make it more complex than some. Asking the question of who do I want to be isn't hard. See, there's always the hero in any movie was always the loser, the nobody, the person that nobody recognized. Something that they weren't extraordinary at first. To me, anybody listening to this is probably either nobody, a loser, or is falling short in some area of life at this point. But in my opinion, everybody likes a good comeback story.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
So you could be the most extraordinary person. You could be famous right now listening to this. There is something in your life that you're probably being a loser for, even if nobody knows it. Maybe you are that person that is eating junk food all the time. And you know that you've had goals for the last 3 months and you're not showing up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, to me, this is more of a practice of asking yourself, who do I want to be? Writing that out, take time to, it doesn't need to be an overnight thing. You can write about it for a week. but really determine who is my hero. If I was my most ideal hero in this entire world, who would that be? Write it out. Really, it's almost tied to vision, truthfully. But taking the time of creating the hero you are.
It's like be the hero of your own movie. Have you heard that? Like Joe Rogan go over that?
I think I've heard some snippets. I'm not going to lie. I don't listen to his podcast that much.
I don't either, but I've listened to that a handful of times, and it's just like, it sounds a lot like what you're saying, but it's like, be the hero of your own movie. Like if your life was a movie, what would you be doing? Like if you had almost like if you had cameras on you the whole time and they were just filming you, like how would you be living your life? I haven't listened to it a long time, so I wish I could quote the whole thing, but he has this whole thing that he goes over. It's really cool. But,
and one last thing is,
yeah.
Are you truly a powerful person? Mm-hmm. See, a true powerful person, it's not about the money or whatever. Obviously, that stuff's nice and it can bring influence or power, but a powerful person never quits.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you never quit, you never fail. So if you're a person that's having a plan A, B, C for who you want to be, well, if I'm with this person, I'm this way. If I'm with this person, I'm this way. If I'm at this place, I'm this way. Then naturally, you're not going to have confidence because you don't even know who you are.
Right.
But if you say, I'm this person, no matter what, this is who I am. And if somebody's not okay with me or doesn't like me for who I am, then that's fine. But the moment you're a true powerful person, you don't alter who you are for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you never quit on yourself.
Yeah. I think that's totally true. I like that a lot. So if I'm wanting to discover my own identity, I'm like not totally sure who I am, like what I want to do, that thing, I'm going to go back to like the pen paper thing, but I think you said that, like write down, like, are those I am statements you write down, or?
It can be.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if you really want to figure out who you are, I don't feel like, this is probably where it becomes more complex than it's blanket statement.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, if you do X, Y, Z, you'll figure out who you are. But to me, it's just like, sit down and write. Sit down and think. Yeah. Who do I want to be? So for instance, me, one of my core characteristics is I never tell a lie. I'm not a nice person. I'm a good person. I'm not going to lie to your face, period. I'm not going to beat around the bush, but also I'm somebody that will not steal. Essentially, really figure out your core values, your core life principles that you will always hold to. Mm-hmm. You could take coaching, investing, and business away from me. No matter what, I'm still going to take who I am with anything else that I do.
You are not what you do. You are who you are.
Take out all my titles. This is who I am. You are not your career. You are not you're not, yes, as a title formation. So there's identity and there's labels. Labels are what the world labels you as. Mm-hmm. Identity is an identity that you choose. It's almost like a label, but you chose it.
Yeah.
So yes, as far as my identity, I am a coach. I am an investor. I am a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. I am a friend. I am a husband. You name it. Mm-hmm. But your true identity is the characteristics that you live to. I'm an honest person. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't steal. I show up 100%. I grow. I don't let things slip through the cracks, which essentially means if I promise you something, I will do it 100% and I'll do more than I promised. And I'm not going to forget that I did it.
Mm-hmm. Like that.
So I don't know if that really answers the question because there's so much that go into it in a simple sense. But sit down and really choose who you want to be. You can make it into 2 sections. What are the titles you identify with? And what are the characteristics? What are the principles that you live by? So if you took out all the titles, who would you actually be? No matter where you go.
Yeah. And those are like the qualities. Those are it's almost like your behaviors in a way a little bit too. Yeah.
The things that you don't alter from.
Yeah. Like I'm
Your
always
principles.
honest. I'm always, like I'll never tell a lie. I'll never steal. I'll never put anyone down for no reason, you know?
Yeah. What are
Like,
your
I mean, even if there's a
principles?
reason, I'll probably won't, because even if there's a reason to put someone down, there's really no benefit from it for
Totally.
me, you know? It's just like kind of a waste of time and energy.
And here's the cool thing. You write down all your principles. You're like, I never put down people. Okay, that's your principle. Now ask yourself, when was the last time I put somebody down?
I know. Well, that's what went through my head. I was like, man, sometimes with like some of my siblings, I'm like, man, sometimes we like have different opinions on things, and it's like it gets not that intense. Like we don't like yell or anything, but it's just like, no, you should do this. No, I should do this. No, blah blah blah. You know, and I'm like,
Gets
man,
heated.
I need to like work on that. You know, but like in general, like, yeah, I'm like, I feel like try to stick to like being a nice guy, but like not. No, actually, I like the way that like I've heard it put. It's like being a good man, but not a nice guy.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I've heard so many people like say that, but okay. Anyway, so that's what people can do to figure out their identity, and then spirit, mind, body. That's like one.
I wouldn't say it's one, but it works in, what's the right word for it? Harmony. Works in harmony.
Gotcha.
If you're working on your spirit, whether this is like God, meditation, praying, you name it.
Which we went over.
Yeah. This could also be cold showers or cold plunges. This will work on your spirit, your mind, and your body all in one.
Like mental tough. Being in situations that are uncomfortable, but doing it anyway because you know, one, there's a physical benefit to something like that, but also because it's creating, you're training yourself to do things because they're hard.
Correct.
Like, or to stick with it even though it is hard.
Exactly.
And even though your body's saying get out of the cold shower, you stick with it. You stick with it.
And then you'll be able to be more in stressful situations in life.
Yeah.
You'll lose weight if you start to take cold showers.
I think your skin looks better too.
Yep.
You're actually happier. It like brings out like the happy hormones, the like endorphin.
Yep.
Or yeah. I don't know the correct terms, but
don't quote me on this either, but from the studies that I've read, other studies, and I can't quote any studies, and I've read a lot of them, it's been proven that some cold showers are more effective than some anxiety and depression medication.
I believe it.
Cold shower a day. Yeah.
Okay, so I remember I just heard this, and it was saying like when someone does drugs, cocaine, you know, whatever, you know, it could be anything. Right? Yeah. I don't need to list them. But when they take their drug to feel good, they feel good for a while, but then there's a crash. Correct. Right? But when someone takes a cold shower, it releases just as much dopamine, if not more, but there is no crash, and it actually continues to rise after they've been out of it for like 2 or 3 hours after.
Yep.
And then it just slowly like comes down. So it's like, as far as feeling good about you, your life, and being happy, like that's more powerful than drugs.
And it's working on your spirit, your mind, and your body. So you're getting the benefit of as if you were taking a medication plus some.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't take a pill and then you don't feel good about yourself. Because you're like, shit. Like, I need to take this to live life. And sure, if you need medication, I'm not saying don't, but I'm just saying you don't necessarily get mental toughness by taking a medication.
Right.
You're not like, woo, I won the day. I took my medication.
Right.
You know, but when you get in the cold shower, you're getting the same benefit and you say, wow, I did something. Like, I feel really good. Now I can go win the day.
Yeah.
But you don't take a pill and then say, I can win the day.
Yeah. I don't usually take just like a straight cold shower. Like usually it's warm. I soap up and then I rinse off cold, and I'll stay in there a little longer with the cold. But it's like almost like a game. Like, how long can I stay in until I'm done? And then almost every time I turn it off, like as soon as it turns off, I immediately feel really good. And sometimes I even smile. I'm like, whoa, you know, like it's a rush. It really is.
Sometimes you do that every time. Just kidding.
Yeah, but
you take showers in the morning or night?
Generally in the morning, like
Okay.
after a workout or after I'm done with the dirty stuff of the day, I take a shower. So I mean, sometimes it can be like more afternoon.
That's fair.
But
at some point, I challenge you just to do cold showers alone.
Just cold.
Just
I
cold.
feel like that's gonna hurt, like soaping up my body with the exfoliator, like loofah thing.
So I guess what I'm saying is take 2 showers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I heard that's also good for right before you go to bed because it lowers your body temperature, because we sleep like 4 or 5 degrees colder than we do throughout the day,
Yeah. And the only reason I heard this from Wim Hof and other studies is that actually if you do take a hot shower and then do a cold shower, it's less effective than if you just do cold.
So I'm doing it wrong. I need a interesting.
Because your body gets heated up internally and you're hot. And so it makes it easier to turn on the cold shower as well.
It does, because because then the cold shower is refreshing, not like shocking.
What if you just turn on the cold shower? You're like, oh crap.
Dang, I need to go to the next level, it sounds like.
And or for instance, if it's me where I just worked out, I don't work out every day. I work out 5 times a day or 5 times a day.
Holy crap.
5 days a week. So on the days that I do work out, I do room temperature. So it's not heating me up. It's not cooling me down. That's how I take my shower. And then I end it with a cold shower.
Okay.
So I don't do hot shower, then cold. I do it right in the middle. That way it's not doing anything for me as far as the water is concerned.
That makes sense. Okay. I like that. Did we go over, because there's a couple others we need to go over.
Spirit, mind, body.
We good there?
I guess just add in there. If you're not working out, start working out even if it's just 5 minutes a day.
Okay. Be consistent with that.
Mind. If you're not working on your mind every single day, again, I don't care what it is. Just start with something 5 minutes a day. I don't care if it's reading. I don't care if it's journaling. I don't care if it's meditating. I don't care if it's a walk where you're walking and feeding your mind. Promise yourself 5 minutes a day. And if your spirit, I don't care if you believe in God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, the universe, energy, don't care. All I care about is that you give yourself 5 minutes of God every single day.
Could that be meditating? Or is that more mind?
So that's a good question. I feel like it comes down to the intention. If your intention is connecting through meditation with God or something higher, then yes, I would consider it spirit. But if your intention is just mind and future focused, then I feel it's more mind focused. Does that make sense? So I feel like meditation is a multi-tool. Journaling is as well. Because you could do spirit and be writing about God and how you're so grateful for what God has given you. I feel like that's a tool that can be used with spirit, mind, or body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's good. That's actually really good.
But 15 minutes a day, if you haven't done spirit, mind, or body at all for the last years, I promise you can make 15 minutes happen.
Yeah. Okay. So vision.
So this was the spirit, seeing the past, present, future, and next steps. Next steps, life vision. So similar to the destination. I would encourage, if anybody's hesitating, to looking at their past, do so. I'm not saying that people need to come out to the world and say, I stole from my brother. You know, I'm not like hip, hip, hooray about that. I'm not hip, hip, hooray, I stole from people's cars. I'm not hip, hip, hooray, I started doing drugs and stuff at 13. But what I am saying is be honest with yourself. Just be willing to look at your past and say, I need to transform this. I need to forgive myself on this. And if you're in a place where there is things that you need to let go, whether that's you're holding on for shame, guilt, regret, that's fine. Just be aware of that. But forgive yourself on that. And if you're curious, and I want to say it's episode 60, and I'll actually link the podcast to this below in the caption, but I have a forgiveness episode. I'm just going to encourage you to go there. If you're in a place where you're like, I'm not at good terms with my past, go listen to that podcast and it will transform your life. No questions asked. From there, you're present. Be present in the moment. We can't change the past, even with $1 billion. Can't change the future, even with $1 billion. But what we can do is show up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of where you're at. And that comes back to awareness, right? You can be seeing all that you're doing good right now. You can be seeing all of your shortfalls. And that will allow you to be more in the present and transform them in the moment. 3, you want to see your life vision. So it's like a jump, but again, you need to see the destination. I want to go to Bear Lake. I want to go here, similar in life. And from there, you can establish your next best steps to accomplish your vision.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. And we already went over a little bit of that. So should we move on to purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone needs a purpose, because even if, I think a lot of people are like, oh, it'd be so cool to retire like in my 20s or 30s. And like, even if you did, you would eventually start to probably dislike that because you don't have a purpose. Like human beings need a purpose. So how does somebody find their purpose for life? And that, I know that can change from time to time too, but how do they find their purpose for right now and what they're supposed to do in this moment?
To me, it's just finding something. That's going to be number one, because we need to be able to go on an adventure. When we're kids, we're like, ooh, there's a flower. Ooh, there's a flower. Ooh, there's a planet in the sky. Ooh, there's this dirt trail. Oh, I'm going to, roll down the grass hill and have some fun. We let that go when we're adults. What we need to learn to do is go on another adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't feel like your life is purposeful, you don't need to know it. You need to find it. Because everybody has purpose. The people that say they don't have purpose just means that they've either lost it or they haven't found it. So to me, purpose has 3 main things. But to me, I'm going to add on finances, because I believe that if you live your purpose every day, then you don't work a day. You work harder than 99.999% of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You work more hours and all that. You enjoy it. So you really are retired because you're just enjoying life.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you kidding me? Doing this podcast with you, I'd do this every day.
Right.
Like, I ain't working. Sure, I'm working, but it feels nice. It fuels me.
Yeah.
So purpose comes down to 3 main things. 1, what you're gifted at. Now, if somebody's like, well, I'm not gifted at anything, that's where it comes down to the adventure. So get a piece of paper, write, and do 3 sections. Left is going to be gifted at. Ask the question is either what am I gifted at, and or what I believe I could be gifted at. Start there. Write all those things down. 2 is love. What do you love? Ask the question, what do I love, or what could I potentially love? And 3 is impact. How can I make an impact? How am I making an impact, or what is my potential in making an impact? From there, when you're done, you'll be able to connect. So for me, I'm gifted at seeing people for where they're at and seeing where they're capable of going. So that's my gift / coaching, right? Mm-hmm. I love coaching. My impact, podcasting, speaking, one-on-one coaching. And from there, I see that that's crossed. I'm gifted at it. I love it. And I can make an impact with it, which means naturally I can make money with it. For you, maybe you feel you could potentially be gifted at art. You feel like you could love painting. And your impact, you could obviously do paintings in this world, but maybe you start to do classes for painting. And you start to show people and help other people find their purpose in painting or just a passion. And then you're going to go on an adventure. If you have 10 things that you feel like you could be gifted at and 10 things that you could potentially love, go try all of them. After a month of trying all of them, pick something and go for it. And that's how you find your purpose.
Love it. Nice and simple.
Yeah. Adventures are fun.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I don't even have anything to add to that. It's just like, write down what you're good at, write down what you want your impact to be. And oh crap, I forgot the other love, what you love. Yeah. And then naturally, like if you do all those, then you probably end up with something you can get paid for.
Exactly.
So people get paid for for like anything you can think of. People get paid to cuddle with other people.
I know.
Like, yeah.
And just to add one more thing to that is, again, if you never quit, you never fail. I came into coaching with a lifetime vision doing it. I literally, my vision is succeed with coaching. Then I will be able to start other companies, and then I'll be able to invest in other things. My plan A and only plan is coaching. So if you look at things as a lifetime perspective, you'll always win. If this took 10 years for me to really succeed, that's fine.
Yeah.
10 years, I'm 24 or 24. I'm young. I'm 14 right now.
Yeah.
I'm 34. I get to do what I love for the rest of my life. I'm game.
Yeah.
Not to say it will take 10 years, and I really hope it doesn't. But even if it did, 34, doing what I love for the rest of my life.
34 is young still.
I know. Count me in. I'm good.
Right. Yeah.
So have a perspective for life, not the short term.
Yeah.
If you're looking at life as a short term, Simon Sinek, I think his name is. Is it Sinek or Sinek?
I actually don't know who that is.
He's a leadership coach, and he talks about I want to say that he calls it the infinite game and the finite game. The moment you start playing the infinite game is the moment you'll win forever. Okay. But when you play the finite game where it's short-lived, you'll have more negative emotions because you're like, wow, I'm not winning. I might as well just quit.
Yeah.
But when you start to play the infinite game, it's like, oh, crap, I made a mistake. Well, we got forever to go.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. No, I feel like not just looking at the short term, but the long term is really important, because I think that's something that I really didn't realize until I feel like more recently. I feel like when I was 18, I was like, man, 25, 24, 30 is so old. Like, I don't have very much time to like become successful. So I better do things that will get me successful really quick. And so I like try all these different things, and I would never like for a long time, I didn't stick to anything for a long time because I was like, I don't have a lot of time. Right. And what I'm realizing now is like, holy crap, 25 is still super young. 30 is still really young. Like, I'm not even going to get old until I'm like 50. That's what it feels like, though.
I agree.
And I see there's other people that have proven that that's true. Like, there's a lot of people who are in their 50s that are still in amazing shape. They're still spending a lot of time with their family, that are still just like happy, healthy, doing what they love. And like, I think aging is for people who don't know better in a way.
Well, the way I look at it too is, when did Grant Cardone start? When did Jay Shetty start? When did Ed Milet start? We're really young in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Like, some of these people that we look up to, like, if only I could be where they're at. They started way later than us.
Yeah, exactly.
And sure, we're here, and I'm not saying that we'll be there. And obviously that could be a comparison thing, which isn't necessarily healthy either. Although it does make you feel good when you're like, wow, they started at 30 and I'm 23 or I'm 27. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
And if you even start later than them, that's still fine. You're still young. Even if you're 50, you're still young.
Yeah. I've heard stories of people who are in their 50s or 60s and decide to do something totally different, and they're amazing at it. And then they start just living their dream.
Like, I know some people that they're young and we're like, I'm so ahead of everybody. And it's a good feeling to have. But are we? We're not even done with quarter one.
Yeah.
Like, if we're looking at it as like a football game, we're not even done with quarter one. Like, sometimes, like, it's not a matter of who's winning or who's losing. Just play your game.
Yeah.
You'll always win.
I like that. Okay. So the next one's action.
Yeah.
Because without action, nothing happens. The planning doesn't matter. Like, so many things don't matter if you don't actually take action.
Correct.
And it seems like a lot of people have the hard time taking action, or maybe just finding the motivation to take action. So how do people like take action when they know they need to?
So this is the biggest downfall that I see in people's lives is actually that they don't have a schedule. And that's why they don't accomplish their vision. That's why they don't accomplish their goals. And I know this sounds silly, but straight up, you can ask my wife. She's right there. I really am scheduled focused for this reason alone. I know who I want to be with my identity, my spirit, mind, and body. Every single day I have time scheduled in my schedule to work on it.
Mhm.
Okay, check those off. If you have it scheduled, you will become more naturally. You will accomplish who you want to be because it's scheduled. And as long as you follow your schedule, you're going to do it.
Mhm.
Next is, your impact, your finance, your business. If there's something you want to accomplish in your business and you schedule it, you will accomplish it. So if there's any small next step that I would suggest to take, and not even suggest, you need to take, is get a schedule and stick to it.
Get a schedule, stick to it. Yeah, I feel like for me, once I started putting things in my calendar, a lot more started happening, because it's like, once it was in my calendar, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think even just like when I would plan to, like, I have a sheet at home that has like the hours of the day written out. And so I just fill in what I need to do every day. And so that way I'm like scheduling out my day, what I need to do, the must do's, which I almost always put at the beginning of the day if I can. But anytime I do that, my day is 10 times more productive when I schedule it in. So I think you're right on the money there.
And just follow it. Want to work out? Schedule it.
Mm-hmm.
Want to read? Schedule it.
The time's going to pass anyway. You can pass it flipping through social media. You can pass it just doing nothing. Yeah. Or you can work out for 5, 30 minutes, hour, whatever you want. Yeah, I think that the worst feeling is when hours have passed and then I realize, like, I could have gotten so much done. I could have been so productive.
Like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah. So.
And if you're like me and you like to work, I enjoy what I do. Schedule your family time.
Yeah.
When are you done? Eminem, he treated his rap career as a job. So when his alarm went off that he was done with work, he was done and he went back to his family. Mm. You can hear stories of other artists that work with him, and he's like, "Hey, it's 5:00. See you tomorrow." And they would be like working in the middle of a song.
Yeah.
And he's like, "My family's important."
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
I schedule my family time. Yeah. I know when I'm done every single day in order to spend time with my wife. Would I get a lot more accomplished done? Yes. I'd probably have my next book written by now if I didn't do that. Mm. I'm just not willing to sacrifice my family and my future relationships with my kids in order to have all the success that I want. Again, I'm playing the infinite game, not the finite game. So I'm okay with taking a little bit longer and accomplishing success if it means my relationships are strong.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. Because I think that's the whole reason why we do everything. At least that's why I do everything. It's like, that's why I want to be successful, is so I can spend time with the people that I want to spend the time with. If no one else was here, like, so many things wouldn't matter. I wouldn't need to make the net amount of money I need to make to be able to pay for people. Like if I want to take all my friends out to dinner, like, that's going to take money. If I want to go on really cool dates with my girlfriend or with, future wife, I need to make money to, like, have crazier and crazier experiences. You don't need money to go out on dates, though. There are so many free things you can do, but
yeah,
all of it is for the relationships. That's like the biggest thing, because you can have all the money in the world, but if no one likes you, what's the point?
Exactly.
So the last one's impact.
Yeah.
So, okay, talk about that a little bit more.
If, let's just say, the last 6 steps you do really efficiently, and let's just say you're a master hiker, you're a mountain man, essentially. Mm-hmm. And let's just give the analogy of the mountain. If at the end of your life you get up the mountain as a mountain man and you help nobody else up the mountain, you did not do your purpose here. You did not accomplish your destiny. But if you're a mountain man that takes time to reach out to other people's lives, pull them up, show them how they can do certain things to get up the mountain, and at the end of the life, you have 100 people standing right behind you at the top of the mountain, you did life right. That's the best analogy. But if you get to the top and you look to go shake God's hand and nobody's standing behind you, you did something clearly wrong.
So live your life in a way that, almost like when you didn't say this, but when you die and it's your funeral, live your life in a way where so many people show up because you impacted so many people that they're there for you.
Treat every conversation as if it was your last with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I'm perfect at that either.
Yeah.
You can ask my wife too. Don't laugh at that, Megan. And obviously we communicate very well. I'm not saying we always did.
Mm-hmm.
But if even with a stranger, is it just a general small talk, or can you leave something with that stranger that they'll remember for life? Where 10 years after they're done, it was like, let's say you go into the gas station, you're just getting a snack. You just say, hey, I want you to know I see your light and I think you're a beautiful person. I hope you have an amazing day. Sounds cheesy as hell, but what would that do for the other person?
Yeah.
Could change their day. Could change their lives by one comment. My mom always used to say, people will always forget what you do for them and what you say to them. They will never forget how you make them feel.
Yep.
So be the reason that a stranger looks back on a day 10 years later, says that really made me feel.
I like that a lot. And it'll make you feel good, helping other people feel good.
Yeah.
So
impact doesn't need to be big.
Mm-mm.
I know with a shadow of a doubt, if you're living your true purpose, you will make a big impact. Whether that's like me, I'm speaking, I'm doing events, I'm doing the podcast, I'm coaching, I'm doing my coaching group. And yes, I'm helping people become their authentic self. I'm helping people live out their dreams and making an impact. But for somebody else, maybe it's a handyman and they just honor their work. And they just go to every single job and they just make sure to compliment every single homeowner. No impact is greater or smaller,
mm-hmm.
because a small comment can do just as much as giving somebody $1 million.
And it can have a domino effect too.
Yeah.
So you never know just like what helping one person feel great will do to the next person they interact with.
Exactly.
And the next person that person interacts with. So yeah, I like that. All right, we'll have one last question for you.
Yeah.
What does a prosperous life mean to you?
You got me on that one. I said it. If you can really live being your authentic self, if you can live accomplishing your vision, and you can live making an impact, you mastered it. It's nice to have the material items and the lifestyle, and that's what people consider a prosperous life. Prosperous life is a journey. It is not a destination. I'm going to say that again. Prosperous life is a journey. It is a destination. I live a prosperous life right now because I love myself. I'm living my vision for life. Yes, there's more I want to accomplish with my vision, but there's a lot I've accomplished now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm making an impact. That's what prosperous life means to me.
Beautiful.
But I'm gonna switch it now. How can we support you?
Oh man. Well, you can support me by. That's a great question. I don't know. Well, right now I'm starting I'm starting two things. I'm revamping my podcast, and then I'm also starting a podcast production agency. I've put in a lot of time and money into learning podcasting, and so a way you can support me is by me supporting you. So if you're someone out there that wants to start a podcast, or you have a podcast, or you need to revamp your podcast or whatever, let me help you with that, because the more experience I can get, the more just the better I can be at it, right?
Sure.
The more I can do it, the better I'll get. The more people I can help with, the better I can make their podcast, mine, whatnot. In exchange, we'll do a testimonial or something like that. I'll do it for free. I'll help you guys with your show for free. So, yeah, just that way, if you need a podcast, or if you like this one, I'm helping Braiden with this one. So if you like the way it looks,
and I was going to say that,
me.
like, free, it's like a gift that's hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. Genuinely hit him up, because this He's helped me more than I can explain.
Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, just that. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And ultimately, what is your definition of a prosperous life?
Prosperous life is, I probably said this last time I was on, but doing what I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. To me, I'm just prospering in that case. You know, whether that's helping someone, whether that's just spending time with loved ones or with hobbies, you know, it's like the freedom, you know, so.
That's huge. Thank you so much. Do you have any last words for them on confidence or anything?
Oh man. Take action. Action. Nothing else matters if you do not take the action, because the action is what is going to produce the result. So if you want the result, take the action. So, you know, because it's like 80% of what we do. No, only 20. Trying to remember. I just read a book.
20% of what you do encompasses over 80% of the result.
The results. So focus on the 20% of what's most important to get the most result. So just take action.
Amen to that. That in mind, everybody, thank you so much for showing up once again. And if you're in a place that you want to start to become more, you want to start to be confident with yourself, you want to start living out that vision for life, and you want to start to live the prosperous life that you deserve, and you want to earn it, then down below, I'm going to drop a link with the Prosperous Life membership. Come join the coaching group. Every single week on Mondays, I coach you to become more and achieve more. You have a community that fully supports you. And from there, we can live a prosperous life together. Have a wonderful day, everybody.